So students, we're continuing with the chapter, The Rat Trap, that we had begun. So of course, it is a lengthy chapter, so it is taking a number of days. And we had reached the part where the peddler is taken to the ironmaster's house. And the next day, after he has been bathed and shaved and given a new suit to wear, the ironmaster realizes his mistake. That yes, so maybe in the dim light of the furnace, he was not able to see clearly, but now in the morning when everything is very bright and clear, so he's able to recognize that this man is not my friend. So no matter how shabby he must have looked, or no matter how ragged and torn clothes that he wore, but now he has come to realize. Now the peddler is scared that this man has realized that it is I'm not his friend, and he's worried about the money that he has. And he thinks like, of course, the ironmaster threatens that I should take you to the sheriff. But then the tramp here gives a very, what you can say, a logical explanation on his part, or maybe because he just knows about rat traps, so he gives the same comparison that today I have fallen into the rat trap and tomorrow it can happen with you. And yes, so he does tell that he had no intentions of cheating him or being dishonest. And so he's ready to leave. Okay. And yeah, and the ironmaster makes one concession, that is that he says that you leave immediately and I will not call the sheriff. I won't hand you over. Then the daughter intervenes. Edla, she interferes and interrupts rather, that she says that, see, we invited this person home because we said it is Christmas and you must come and celebrate Christmas with us so that we don't feel lonely. And yes, we really are there celebrating the true spirit of Christmas, that is sharing, caring, and helping everyone. Make sure that everyone enjoys or takes a part in the celebrations. So she wants the peddler to stay home and does not want her father to send him away. Now she's taking a big risk, and she realizes already, she had come to know that time only in the furnace, in the iron mill, when they had gone, that this man is hiding something, he's afraid of something. And now the truth is revealed, he's not her father's friend. He's not Captain Von Stahl, but he is a homeless vagabond, right? A homeless wanderer who makes rat traps for a living. So yes, so let's start. But just as the man was opening the door, the daughter said, I think he ought to stay with us today. I don't want him to go. And with that, she went and closed the door. What in the world are you doing? Said the father. The daughter stood there quite embarrassed and hardly knew what to answer. That morning, she had felt so happy that how home-like and Christmassy she was going to make things for the poor, hungry wretch. So she had this thought, she had this idea in her mind that she's going to make this day very special. And yes, so she's going to make this person feel very at home and comfortable. And because, yes, it is the Christmas festival. She could not get away from the idea all at once, and that was why she had interceded for the vagabond. I think so, yes. Right, and yeah, we had read this, I think so, yesterday. So she just wants it at 1 year in the whole day, like the whole year he's turned away from people's home and he does not have a regular place to stay, and yes, never gets any proper meals. So at least 1 day in the year she wants that he should be taken care of, he should be fed and made to realize that yes, there is goodness in this world, right? So the ironmaster, yes, look over here. The ironmaster mumbled something in his beard. He could not bring himself to oppose her. He could not understand it. Why is his daughter doing such a thing? But he's allowed her to let the man stay at home. So he has agreed to her strange request. It was all a mistake, of course, she continued. But anyway, I don't think we ought to chase away a human being whom we have asked to come here to and to whom we have promised Christmas cheer. He said, yes. She said, yes, it is a mistake. We did commit a mistake by bringing him home, and we both have realized our mistake. And you thought that he's your friend, and I also went and encouraged him to come home. But now that we have realized a mistake, we can't send him away. And we promised him that he would be here to enjoy the Christmas feast with us. So you do preach worse than a person, said the ironmaster. I only hope you won't have to regret this. The young girl took the stranger by the hand and led him up to the table. Now sit down and eat, she said, for she could see that her father had given in. Given in? He's, yes, agreed to his daughter's request. So now she's taken the tram, yes, to the dining table and, yes, serving him the food. The man with the rat trap said not a word. He only sat down and helped himself to the food. He's not saying anything. He's explained himself. And now he's enjoying the Christmas food. Time after time, he looked at the young girl who had interceded for him. Why had she done it? What could the crazy idea be? Why has she done this? And why was she stepping in for him? After that, Christmas Eve at Ramjo passed just as it always had. And yes, the father and daughter, they've been alone for quite some time, and it has always been a lonely time at Christmas also, right? The stranger did not cause any trouble because he did nothing but sleep. So he had his meal and he went off to sleep. The whole forenoon, he lay on the sofa in one of the guest rooms and slept at one stretch. At noon, they woke him up so that he could have his share of the good Christmas fare. But after that, he slept again. It seemed as though for many years he had not been able to sleep as quietly and safely as here at Ramjo. So he's quite happy, like, yes, he's getting food to eat and he has a place to sleep on, whether it is only for a day. And he's quite relaxed now that the ironmaster is not going to turn him over to the sheriff. So he's had his food, and what is he doing? Eating and sleeping. He is quite content. He is quite relaxed. In the evening, when the Christmas tree was lighted, they woke him up again. And he stood for a while in the drawing room, blinking as though the candlelight hurt him. But after that, he disappeared again. So when they lit up the Christmas tree and the presents decorated around, and yes, so he's called at that time. So he just stood there, but then after some time, he went back again. 2 hours later, he was aroused once more. He then had to go down into the dining room and eat the Christmas fish and porridge. So he is being called whenever the meals are ready, yes, to have the food. And then he would just eat and he would sleep again, right? As soon as he got up from the table, and he went around to each one present and said, thank you and good night. But when he came to the young girl, she gave him to understand that it was her father's intention that the suit which he wore was to be a Christmas present. He did not have to return it. And if he wanted to spend next Christmas Eve in a place where he could rest in peace and be sure that no evil would befall him, he would be welcomed back again. So yes, so like after the, like the Christmas dinner, and the tree has been lit and decorated, and the young lady, she comes and tells him that the suit which had been given to him right that day, her father had given her one of his suits to wear, so she said you can keep it and you're not supposed to return it, it's a Christmas present. And she also tells him that if in future also you don't find a place where you can go and celebrate Christmas, you're most welcome. And yes, so he would be welcomed back again in this home. And the man here with the rat traps, he's very surprised. Why is this young girl behaving like this? Why is she so kind to him? Her father was quite angry. He wanted to send me away. But why is she so kind? Right? Why do you think this young girl is so kind? So he's just amazed that she's not saying anything. She's realized that, yes, of course, I was lying. I was dishonest. And right, so in spite of all that, look at her, she's celebrating Christmas and making me feel comfortable. And even in the following years also, she has given me a promise that you can come back here any year. Whenever you find that, yes, you have nowhere to go and to be on Christmas Eve, you can come here. The man with the rat traps did not answer anything to this. He only stared at the young girl in boundless amazement, because he has never come across someone who is so caring, right? So he did come across the crofter, and who was very honest with him. But what did the peddler do? He took advantage of that person. He stole his money and ran away from that place. And now he has come over here. And yes, so he's met another person who is really very kind, who's very concerned, who's very caring. The next morning, the ironmaster and his daughter got up in good season to go to the early Christmas service. They have to go to church. It's Christmas the next day. The guest was still asleep and did not disturb him. So they did not wake him up before leaving, and he could sleep as long as he wanted to. And yes, so they've gone there for the Christmas service. So when at about 10 o'clock, they drove back from the church, the young girl sat and hung her head even more. When at about 10 o'clock, they drove back from the church, the young girl sat and hung her head even more dejectedly than usual. At church, she had learned that one of the old crofters of the ironworks had been robbed by a man who went around selling rat traps. So when she went to church, what were people talking about? That one of the crofters who used to work for them, right? So the person in whose house the peddler had taken shelter, and at church, she had learned that one of the old crofters of the ironworks had been robbed by a man who went around selling rat traps. Yes, that was a fine fellow you let into the house, said her father. I only wonder how many silver spoons are left in the cupboard by this time. And her father is very disappointed, and he is there just telling her that you did wrong. See, we were away at church, and they could, yes, it was very, very clear. Who was this man who went around selling rat traps? The same person who is in their home. And he has stolen from the person who gave him shelter, who gave him food. He could do the same with them. And on the way back from church, the girl is very, very sad that what did I do? Maybe I was wrong in my judgment. And the father is also quite angry. By the time we're going to get back home, the silver in the house is going to disappear. And what is he going to steal, and what is he going to run away with? The wagon had hardly stopped at the front steps when the ironmaster asked the valet whether the stranger was still there. So, right, so they just very, what you can say, eager to reach home to find that everything is safe in their homes, because what they have heard at church is quite disturbing. He added that he had heard at church that the man was a thief. So he said that the man who was there at the home is a thief. The valet answered that the fellow had gone and that he had not taken anything with him at all. So the valet there, their attendant, so he told him that, see, that man had gone, because when they had left for church, he was still sleeping. And so in the meantime, while they were there at the church, he has left that place. And to their surprise, he had not taken anything with him at all. On the contrary, he had left behind a little package which Miss Wilmanson was to be kind enough to accept as a Christmas present. So he says, on the contrary, what did he do? He had left a package. And he said that, yes, what is he gave this package, and he said that this is for Miss Wilmanson. Who is Miss Wilmanson? Who's Miss Wilmanson? She's a young lady, right? And so very, very surprising they are, and very shocked also that, yes, the man has left. He's not taken anything away. And they were very worried while they were in church that what is going to happen. So they were in a hurry to reach home. And the man has left a Christmas present also for the young lady. The young girl opened the package, which was so badly done up that the contents came into view at once. So yes, the peddler, he's never wrapped a present in his life, and he's just kind of covered the contents. What do you think he could have given the girl as a Christmas present? Yes, she gave a little cry of joy. She found a small rat trap, and in it lay 3 wrinkled 10-kroner notes. But that was not all. In the rat trap lay also a letter written in large, jagged characters. So yes, so she immediately, the contents that came into view, because the rat trap was wrapped very, you can say, untidily. It's not properly covered. And she could see there was a small rat trap. And in that, what was there? In the rat trap, the 30 kroners, or the 10, 3 wrinkled 10 kroner notes. And there was a little, a note for Miss Edla Wilmanson. Honored and noble Miss, since you have been so nice to me all day long, as if I was a captain, I want to be nice to you in return, as if I was a real captain. For I do not want you to be embarrassed at this Christmas season by a thief. But you can give back the money to the old man on the roadside, who has the money pouch hanging on the window frame as a bait for poor wanderers. And yes, so he's just made a request to her that you treated me like a captain. Your father mistook me to be his friend. When he realized I'm not his friend, he wanted me to leave the house, but you were kind enough. You made me stay there at your home, and you treated me like a gentleman, like a respectable person. And I want to give this as a Christmas present to you. He's given her a rat trap, and he has also returned the money and said, please give it back to the crofter. He keeps the money there hanging in the window, right, in that pouch, and which is, they're very tempting for anybody passing by, or people who have gone to his home and they are aware of what he has kept in that pouch. So it's a bait for them. And yes, so he stole that and he fell into the rat trap. The rat trap is a Christmas present from a rat who would have been caught in this world's rat trap if he had not been raised to captain, because in that way he got the power to clear himself. He stole the money as a as a peddler. But the lady did not treat him as a tramp, as a peddler, as a homeless person. She treated him like her father's friend. She raised his status from an ordinary person to a captain, to a respectable person. And he says, now is the chance. You've given me that opportunity. You have given me the chance to prove myself also. If you've treated me like one, I should behave like one. And what did he do? He returned the money. So now he is no longer in the rat trap. He is no longer a thief, but now he is once again an honest person. Written with friendship and high regard, Captain von Stahl. Yes. So with that, we have come to the end of the chapter. So finally, the story did have a happy ending. And what brought about a change in the peddler? What brought about the change? Edla Wilmanson's behavior, her kindness, her goodness, and the way she treated him. She treated him with great respect. And he also realized that if she is there giving me so much of regards and respect, the least I can do is not to behave like a thief. And when he came to this house, he was tempted, right? He did have the thought in his mind that they might give him some money, right? They might help him out. And that was also one thought in his mind. So when he stole the money from the crofter, he fell into the rat trap. How did he come out of the rat trap? By returning that money. And yes, what brought about that change? The kindness, the goodness of the young lady, Edla Wilmanson. Was he really a captain? No, he was not a captain. But he was treated with great respect as if he was a respectable person, but not a homeless tramp, right? So he says, you have given me so much of regard, you have given me so much of respect, that now I would be very, very, what you can say, dishonest if I leave this home as a dishonest person. You have given me the chance to come out of this rat trap, right? And so what does he do to prove himself that he is a changed person, he is a better person? What does he do? He returns the money. right? Why does he sign himself as Captain Monstal? Why does he sign himself as Captain Monstal? Was he really the captain? No, it was because of the honor and respect the young lady had given to him, and that is why he signed himself. Okay, right. So, and yes, why did Edler give that, like that shriek of happiness, a little cry of joy? Why? Because her father was quite disappointed that yes, you have taken the wrong man home, and he turned out to be a liar, a thief, a dishonest person, right? So they're very worried that by the time they reach home, that a major theft would have taken place. He would have disappeared with all the things there, right? So if he's stolen once, he can steal again. But yes, Edla is very happy because her faith in goodness is restored, or rather, she is very happy that if she trusted this man, if she kept him at her home, if she treated him like a gentleman, he has also behaved in a gentlemanly manner. So, in the end, yes, all is happy and all is well again, because the peddler has come out of the terrible situation he had landed himself into. Was the peddler happy in being caught in the rat trap? No, he was not. He's really worried now. Yes, so one thing led to another. He stole the money. He did not walk on the highway. He went in the forest. He got lost over there. Then he went to the mill, right, that furnace where he wanted to take shelter. And from there, he came to the ironmaster's house. He could have landed into more trouble if he was sent to the sheriff. And yes, the sheriff would have found the money on him, and it would have been a big, what you can say, problem for him, right? Landed in jail. But what has happened? The young lady had trust on this man. She had faith that no, he is not going to do anything wrong. And yes, her kindness brought about this change. Clear? Is this clear? Yes. So can we discuss the questions here? The other comprehension questions? Right? Do you remember the chapter? So we of course, I think so these must have been clear to you when we have discussed the chapter. What made the peddler accept Edla Wilminson's invitation? Because she was quite adamant, and she was not taking no for an answer, and she was not listening to his repeated, refusals. And then he thought that yes, so since she has come, the daughter has come to convince him to go home, so he agreed. Now, what doubts did Edla have about the peddler? What were the doubts? So she's quite observant, and she could sense that man is afraid of something, that either he's running away or he's stolen something. So she could sense that. And that were her doubts which she had about this man. When did the ironmaster realize his mistake? He realized his mistake in the morning after the peddler had been shaved and bathed and he was wearing his suit. Then he realized that this is not my friend. What did the peddler say in his defense when it was clear that he was not the person the ironmaster thought he was? So what did he say? Let's see, this situation can happen to anybody. I have fallen into the rat trap, and yes, there are chances that you can also fall. So this situation here, where you land up right here in a situation that you are not aware of, or you don't know what the consequences would be. So here the peddler, yes, initially he was there thinking that I might get some more money, and yes, so he did not have any problems because the girl was also there convincing him a number of times. But later on, he realized his mistake, and he was even more scared when the ironmaster said that I will be handing you over to the sheriff. So why did Edla still entertain the peddler after she knew the truth about him? Her father was sending the man away. He was also leaving, but she interrupted, she interceded, and she said that we have promised him that he will celebrate Christmas with us, and we are not sending him away, right? So, of course, we have realized that he's not whom we thought him to be, but we cannot send him away. And yes, so she was very happy with the thought that it is going to be a nice Christmas, and she did make things very comfortable for the man. Yes. So, right, it is there kindness and goodness it can bring about a change. And yes, and see this homeless person who hardly had any money, and he gave up whatever he had because he wanted to be treated respectfully, or he wanted to be remembered as someone who was honest and someone who deserved the respect that they gave, right? So let's discuss the question answers.